Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurudeva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hari Om from Niagara Falls. When are you the best student? When are you the best Vedantic student? When are you the best spiritual student? And if you think honestly about this, it's during satsang. It is during a knowledge session where what you thought was impossible starts to feel possible. That I can be balanced, I can be independently joyous. Everyone agrees? Then what happens? What happens to holding on to being the best student? What happens to holding on to making the impossible possible? The reason we let go is because we lack clarity. We think that we are the best students temporarily. We think this is supposed to be temporary. And so when these virtues of Viveka, Vairagya, when they go away, we feel that this is part of who we are, part of living. And so that lack of clarity creates a lack of reality to this subject, to this experience. It's frustrating for us because we know we're supposed to be joyous. We know we're supposed to be loving, and still we're not able to experience that fully. It's not a reality for us. That reality is lacking. And it's not because of the circumstance. It's because I lack clarity as to what my nature is, what my potential is. As Chinmaya Inspiration Yatris, do not be ordinary. Do not allow yourself to be that seeker who's only a seeker during a yatra, and then afterwards is just nostalgic about it. You should feel like you can be anyone, you can do anything. Every one of us knows we are. Can you deny your existence? No. We all know we are, but we don't know what we are. I know that I exist, but what is the expression of this existence? Because I'm not aware of existence, there's a lot of vikshepa that takes over, or projection. My mind starts to think that I'm a certain gender, a certain age, a certain limitation. So I know I am, but I don't know what I am. And when I don't know what I am, I start to project what I am. And rarely is that in the positive, because of the impurity of the mind. In Shloka 3, we had studied how, as long as the impurities of the mind are present, our potential will never be experienced. And there's a lovely story that relates to how our Creator hid our intelligence, hid our Viveka inside of ourselves, knowing that most of us would be extroverts and we're going to look for more pleasure, more possession, more position, Rare would be the seeker who would look in themselves for this intelligence, this power to be free. Our Creator wants to make sure that we're ready for independent joy. In Shloka 4, what Swami Tejomayananda shares, if we do have thoughts about who we are, where we're going, these positive thoughts have to be nourished more and more and more, so much so that this is a trajectory for us to transcend the thoughts. See, negative thoughts will weigh us down. Positive thoughts will make us lighter, and it is positive thoughts that eventually can help us to even transcend those thoughts. Like, we know that sattva is also a guna, is also a rope, but it is sattva, this rope, this guna, that is going to help us transcend the gunas, to break free from all limitations. This is what we studied last month. Now we continue with Shloka 5. And Swamiji is able to describe what we're all experiencing, which is lack of experience when it comes to our nature, when it comes to what we want. Please repeat after me. Nishtha bhavat paranandaha. Nishtha bhavat paranandaha. Jivan muktasya yoginaha. Jivan muktasya yoginaha. Sadhakirnanubhuyeta. Sadhakirnanubhuyeta. Viphalam tarhi sadhanam. Viphalam tarhi sadhanam. Together. Nishtha bhavat paranandaha. Jivan muktasya yoginaha. Sadhakirnanubhuyeta. Viphalam tarhi sadhanam. What is shared in the first quarter is nishtha, being established. Abhavat, we're not experiencing this. And established in what? Paranandaha, the joy of all joys. So this first quarter is describing how we're not established in this most lively joy. And why is that? How come we keep coming in and out of being peaceful? I think time is a fine gauge to show what we care for. Where our time goes shows what we care for. Yes? We are all living for that which is changing. We're living for the body, we're living for our family, we're living for what people think about us. We're even living for the mind, that's changing too. And because we're living for the changing, that means we're not living for the changeless. We're okay with temporary joy. We're okay with pleasure. And why we should know we're okay with this? Because that's where our time is going. Who's actually living for that which is permanent, that which is forever? So we're not experiencing this because of how we're living. Jivan muktasya yoginaha. But the yogi, the one who's perpetually engaged in integration, body to mind, mind to intellect, intellect to carry that ego to the self, that personality does experience the joy, being happy once and for all. And Guruji shares in the commentary for this shloka, we shouldn't call what we experience in our day-to-day affairs as joy. We should not call it joy, because it tricks us into thinking, yeah, we've realized what we're here for, what the purpose of life is, in a very casual way. When we grow up, we say that we love our parents, we love our siblings, but then we get into popular culture and we say we love this singer, we love this amusement park, we love this pair of shoes, right? So that same word we used to describe our parents who created us, now I love a pair of shoes, or these socks are so soft, I just love them. See how casual we are with our words, and our words affect our thoughts. So as yatris, we have to be more intense and not call what we experience as joy, because it's not joy. Joy is ananda. Joy is mukta. In the third quarter, sadhakaihi na anubhuyeta. Again, Guruji shares that us, we are sadhakas, we're not experiencing what we're studying. We're not experiencing what we hear about, what we read about. Perhaps because we're not giving our attention to what we're studying. If you think about this satsang's once a month. If you want to be in good physical shape, do you go to the gym once a month? If you want to smell fresh, do you bathe once a month? Wherever our attention is, there will be achievement. That's what I told you. You can be anyone. You can do anything as long as you give your attention to that direction. And right now what we're being called out on is, where is our attention? Vifalam tarhi sadhanam. Whatever sadhanas are in our lives, if we're not giving attention to these sadhanas, if we're not giving time to these sadhanas, they're not going to have their effect. Like, if you're physically not well and you go to see a physician, you go to the hospital and they say that you have to engage in this physiotherapy, you have to take this medicine, but you don't. Do you blame the hospital? Do you blame all of medicine? Someone who's immature will blame medicine and that hospital, even though they're the ones who didn't follow what's supposed to be followed. Sadhanas are directly linked to the sadhya. Sadhya is the destination. Sadhya is our end. Sadhanas will work if we work. Sadhanas will work. Sometimes we feel dejected and think japa doesn't work, puja doesn't work, reading, writing, reflection doesn't work. Why am I in this course? Why do I teach Balavihar? Etc., etc., etc. I had brought up time earlier. Time is an important gauge of what we love. We also need to unlearn our worldly timelines when it comes to this development that is beyond the world. Okay, let me make it simpler. Can you prove what you have faith in? Can you prove reincarnation? Can you prove that you love your sibling? All that is deep is beyond proof. Yes? What we are studying, what we're hoping to experience, is to go beyond time. To be sanatana, which is eternal. How long is it going to take to go beyond time? Everything else in the world, There's timelines. There's deadlines. How many points I need on a gold card before I can go on vacation. How many years I have to put in before I become tenured at a teaching establishment. And on and on and on. There's times to this. Even while I speak, I'm monitoring. Okay, 10 minutes for an introduction, 10 minutes per shloka. Everything is based on time. However, when it comes to putting in effort, to going past time, we have to unlearn this worldliness of when will I be enlightened? When will I be patient? Once you start, naturally you will end. It shouldn't be a conscious choice of yours that I'm done with japa now. I'm done with being a morning person. You will know when you no longer need to engage in japa. You will know when it doesn't matter what time of the day you sleep, what time of the day you wake up. You will know this. We recently had a courses meeting. We have our 3 weekly courses, our 3 monthly courses, and someone had brought up, so how long will we be going with our Yatri Satsang? And I said, forever. Why would we stop? We'll just keep studying different texts. All of you don't look too happy or optimistic. But that's my point, see? Again, you've established a worldly timeline that this should be temporary. No. You don't put a timeline on breathing. This is even deeper. This is thinking. The next shloka is similar to what we just studied. This is a very honest and harsh text. And we need this. It reminds me of Guruji, Swami Tejramananda. He wrote this when he was younger. Okay? And what I'm told is that when Guruji first started teaching, facilitating the Vedanta courses, he was much harder on the students. Much harsher. Very ashram-like. Now, we've all experienced each other in camps, say in different cities in the States, and then you've also experienced our yatras. There's a different hardness to that, isn't there? There's a different discipline. It's very much needed. Otherwise, we are always wanting softness. We become soft. This text is different. Dhrida nishtaika siddhyartam. Dhrida nishtaika siddhyartam. Manah Shodanam. Manah Shodanam. Tadartam sadaka sarve. Tadartam sadaka sarve. Yatantam dhrida nishchayaha. Yatantam dhrida nishchayaha. Together. Dhrida nishteka siddhyartam. Manah Shodanam. Tadartam sadaka sarve. Yatantam dhrida nishchayaha. What is shared here is dhrida nishtha. Nishtha is establishment. Dhrida is firm, with sincerity. Eka siddhyartam. Our only purpose, our only artha, purpose, should be for this siddhi, this eka siddhi. In other words, we should be breathing for enlightenment. We should be thinking about enlightenment. There is fundamentally no other reason for why we're here other than to not be here. We have to die trying to be free of death. Everything else is a lower and higher expression of relativity. and it is relative, so who cares? In this home, this table is going to last longer than this chair because this chair gets more of a pounding, but they're just pieces of furniture, correct? Now just extrapolate that to every part of our lives other than what we're building up towards becoming more inward looking. I shared with many of you when Ravana starts to describe to Mother Sita why she should marry him, how strong he is, how he commands so many people. All of Lanka can be hers. She can be the primary Rani. And she knows she has to respond to him. Otherwise, he's going to go on and on and on. So what does she do before she responds to him? She takes that blade of grass and puts it between her line of sight and him and says, everything you've described is as worthwhile as this blade of grass. And for everyone who was in our Bhagavad Gita course, I pointed this out. Everything that we've done that is not towards enlightenment is that blade of grass. True? And if you don't feel it's true, prove it. Prove that your hair is going to be going on forever. Prove that whatever you're doing professionally is going to go on forever. We should die trying to be free of death. That's dhrida nishta. That firm purpose. Manah Shodanam apekshita. All that is required of us, all that we do should be focused on shuddhi, on purification of manah, of the mind. Throughout our yatras, we've had 10 next week, the 11th yatra begins. 2 months after that, the 12th yatra begins. Every one of us has experienced peace. And that peace is always directly associated with purity. Whenever our minds have been most pure, calm, patient, loving, disciplined, thoughtful, purity and virtues, they're synonymous. We've experienced the most peace, correct? So here when Swami Tejamayana says all we do should be for purity of mind, it's the same as saying all we do should be for peace. Tadartam sadhaka sarve. Therefore, sadhakaha are seeking should be directed towards this purity of mind, should be directed towards being free of death. And within this quarter, what is being shared is that we have to love dharma. We have to love our responsibilities. Our responsibilities, the word for that is dharma. And I told you, dharma as a noun means responsibility, responsibilities. As a verb means that which integrates, integration. Integration is the same as purity of mind, no? Here's my intellect. My mind is all over the place. But like, you know those cool vacuum cleaners where you press the button and the cord naturally goes in? That's like integration between that cord and that vacuum cleaner. So the more I follow my responsibilities, it's like that cord coming back. It's like my mind getting integrated into my intellect. And Swami Chinmayananda shares, when they do come together, it's called intuition. In an expression form, intuition is when you can see something as it is, which means there's no projections there, correct? Right now, I don't see myself as I am. But the more integration there is, the more I get to know who I actually am. So to love Dharma, to follow our responsibilities, irrespective of our mood, this is an important point. We tend to live in a society, we tend to live by what we feel like doing. I feel like sleeping in. I feel like eating this. I don't feel like reading today. I don't feel like engaging in japa. To help us not be moody is the purposes of these sadhanas. So whether we want to do it or not is irrelevant. We have to do this. And by doing this, we'll transcend those moods. The more moody we are, the more japa we should do. The more frustrated I am, the more I should sit down and read. And then I get more frustrated, stay there. Right? It's that level of patience. Yatantam dhridanishchayaha. With such striving, this establishment will come. Without this establishment, we will suffer. We will continue to suffer. For some reason, though we may not verbalize this, we do feel wisdom comes with age, correct? Some of us feel that as we get older, we'll just become more patient. We'll just become less greedy. We'll become more forgiving. Does it happen like that? These vices aren't going to go anywhere. The source of these vices, which is ignorance, definitely is not going to go anywhere naturally. For me to think that naturally I'm just going to become more loving, for me to think naturally I'm just going to become more healthy as I get older, there's a deep sense of immaturity there, correct? I know some of us think like that. You know, when I'm married, then I'm going to become more patient. When I'm a grandparent, I'm going to become more loving. Nothing is natural like that. Which is why Swamiji keeps sharing all of our efforts should be towards establishment. Nothing is going to change automatically. It requires our active efforts. Oh.